Hello, everyone. We're at the top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Thank you so much for joining our publisher workshops. As you know, we typically have these at least once a month, and they're designed to help you grow traffic and increase visitors to your site and therefore increase CPMs. So welcome to our How to Prep for Q4 workshop. Today, our presenter, like usual, is our VP of Audience Strategy, Lindsay Valdez, not Lindsay and Valdez. We're not sure what happened there. And her team, which is Trish and Jenna. You'll see them here on camera. It's a growing team. It's a big team here at Freestar because we know it's a huge focus to help all of you grow your traffic and combat some of these issues coming in from the larger platforms such as Google. So if you haven't, before she kicks off, if you haven't gotten with this team on a one-on-one basis, it's really an offering that it's a free offering if you're a Freestar client, and it's really special that we offer it because we know that this is a huge part of your business model and you need to grow that audience. So please get with them one-on-one. Reach out to any of us if you need to. Lindsay does drop her email at the end of this deck, and you can book a consultation with them to talk about your traffic and ways to grow it. But without further ado, let's start prepping for the best traffic of the year, which is Q4.
Yes, thank you so much, Lauren. Excited to be here today and talk to you all and see so many familiar faces on screen as we talk about how to prep for Q4. So I'm not going to waste any time, but to get into the agenda, we may think it is early to be talking about Q4, which technically is October, November, December of each year. The highest money-making times, the huge months tend to be November and December, but of course October is in there. And as early as it must sound, and also the fact that in certain parts of the world it's still very warm, people start searching early. So it's always been a thing in my career in publishing that it's 115 degrees in Phoenix. However, Halloween content is what I'm talking about as we go into the seasonality and how to really maximize efforts there. So it may feel early, but I want to promise you people are searching now for holiday related things. I've met people that are Christmas shopping, someone on this call. Thank you, on my team. So we're going to talk about the actual strategy, that how you get literally ready for these months to make the most revenue and to maximize that revenue. We're going to talk about the success factors that need to happen in order for this seasonality to really be successful, since there's so much competition. We'll talk about the benefits, challenges, get into a little detail when it comes to actually updating content. That's a huge part. I'll just say now you're going to hear me talk a lot about content and how to use that as a vehicle for seasonal sales and more ad revenue. I'll give some examples. And then I also want to touch at the end on Google. SGE stands for Search Generative Experience. You may have heard more like the AI results in the search results. AI results is what I'm talking about there, and how content can be included. And I have a really cool screenshot to show you what these results may look like. Pause. All right. So I'm going to get into a few definitions here. Talking about editorial and content approach is just, I never get bored of it. And when it comes to seasonal content, although we're talking about Q4, we've even done a previous webinar on how to use trends all year long, from January to December. There's always moments that what I'm talking about here can be applied to a general sense, especially your niche. It's niche related. You're going to always be able to find a way, I believe, to angle at seasonal, like true seasonal content of the holidays and of the shopping's November and December. But sometimes your trend may look like the more time-based trend down there, that something happens in the news and you see a spike, or especially things like education that changes in the summer months and is higher in those seasons. But you can see some definitions here. We talk a lot in this particular webinar about event-based content. That is the more the national, international recognized federal holidays, that the shopping moments of how people are headed to the websites to buy. Shoppable content's the last one. Okay. Why this matters so much, I put some stats there, but everyone, buys online. This took a particular huge jump, a 50 billion year over year increase. This is for Q4, October, November, December, since COVID. So in those months where everyone in the world was at home, there was the exploration of how to shop online. So if you weren't doing it by those years, I'm talking about probably some of the older generations who hadn't, necessarily needed to by then, now they are, and you're seeing this increase. What this does is provides us, you publishers, with the home to the inventory, right? You have the inventory that has the ads more. It's like this perfect storm, I like to call it. You're going to get higher revenue because search interest is at an all-time high. No matter what, you're heading there. Home decor, prepping, toys to buy your kids, crafts, recipes. This is just everything kind of drives to needing a search query to go online, which is generally filled in the organic search nature. You're searching for these things. That's at the highest. Advertiser budgets, they wait all year to spend in Q4. These are when they want all the creatives to be on the high quality pages that users are going to see their brand on the shopping content, on content that ties this together. Very valuable space. Fill rates, right? You're not going to have a ton of empty ad space during the highest season of the year. So that makes sense. All to say why it matters is because it's your time and many publishers' time to make more money in those 2 months than some do all year. All right. So as I just talked about, that first sentence there is why we focus on it. But what is the strategy about? What does it mean to prep for Q4? First of all, it's going to be getting your content ready. You have new content and content you've already created, both working together to cover all the areas that apply for your own niche. I will never tell you to publish content that doesn't make sense for your audience. So just know right now, anytime I'm talking about this strategy, it's and only an approach that your audience would care about, that they come to your site for what you're an expert in. So I'll use a silly one, but gift guides, right? You're not going, if you're a tech site, your gift guides will likely be related to the best iPhone essentials or tech essentials, it has to be that angle versus best surfboards are not going to make sense for your audience. You're going to never ever want to do those things. This is a true strategy of audience loves the nostalgia and the importance of the holidays as well, and making that kind of connecting the two for your content is where you need to think. This could, again, stuff you've already written about will need to be updated, and I get into updating content. So much can be learned in you looking at your data, which is that third point. There's data feeds. You're going to want to know what happens after Black Friday, if that applies to you, or after Thanksgiving. If you're a heavy recipe site, you want to know and look into your data to see highest traffic. Did they do okay? Did they perform in the revenue? So you're prepping your content. Number two there, website optimization for ads and e-commerce. This is a great time to not scale back. And I certainly don't say this. I'm always for you to get money in your pockets on the ad side. Advertisers will pay a lot of money for video ads, video inventory to run during the holidays. It's the highest paying ad format. And if you hate video, but perhaps want to test in the month of December, that's something that users are used to seeing ads too heavily, right? Around that time of year, you're maybe less annoyed. It's just this time when it's high commercial holiday interest that you may test with some, if you've been waiting to put an additional unit in your sidebar, if you've been waiting to run a leaderboard banner, this could be a great time to test, because revenue will pay off, and it won't, not only is it more ads, but not worth the more dollars. And then finding a way to approach e-commerce. For some, this is so easy. you have this very clear, recipes, what you're shopping for, holiday, prepping for entertainment. That makes sense. You might not have that in every niche, but consider partnerships that would make sense, and how to weave e-commerce through that. There's got to be something related to your niche that people spend money on, are interested in a product review, and I'll go into these kind of exact examples of seasonal content. But it's a great time for partnerships, and you'll see it even in products as well, or even in how retail stores come together during the holidays with different brand partnerships. You could work with someone similar in your industry to create content, sponsored content, outreach to a brand that might make sense for you to actually partner with. If you are a tech brand and you have a high amount of Android users, you might be able to reach out directly to AT&T, to a brand, and say give them audience data. We offer audience data to further your partnerships in this sense, to build you the story that a brand might want to work with you during Q4. And then plan the distribution, holiday sales, or any of these. I'm saying a holiday, but I just don't mean like that December holiday of them all holidays. You plan the distribution. Email, you have to tell the audience, optimize it for SEO, share it on your social channels. That's the last piece. Content is only as good as the people who see it and value it. And if no one does, then you've wasted money on content anyways. That goes for any editorial plan. You must have distribution.
Linz, I just want to pause you there because I forgot to mention at the beginning of this. We know people don't always like to come on camera, but if Lindsay's talking and you want to come on camera and ask a question, it's a small enough group today. So this is definitely meant to help you. So if you have a specific question that you think could service the group, please ask, or you can use the chat and I'll be monitoring it for the end.
Thank you. All right, so what will make a successful seasonal content campaign or content efforts? This is a list of somewhat of the steps you need to take to make sure you're not duplicating efforts too. It's a very noisy time of year. I mentioned staying on brand. That goes for all things. You want to stay on brand, talk to your audience, plan ahead, and schedule well in advance. If you have content that you're updating, now's a good time to start doing the content inventory. This means instead of doing yet another turkey side recipe of the same thing, you're doing new content or you're updating it. What I mean by seasonal content inventory, many of you tag your websites. So this is an easy one to look at what you've tagged that has to do with the holiday or the event or however you're tagging it. Winter is a good idea too. I keep going and I'm speaking specific, but it's broad. It could be winter jackets. I actually use that as an example in here. So if you're a fashion site, that's going to trend. Did you do that last year? Did it perform well or not perform well? These are the things that an inventory steps would be. Looking at the tag, you can also look in GA, which I go into coming up, to find what performed well. And then instead of doing again, your 5th Mother's Day gift guide, you just update. You keep this one solid piece of content updated with fresh information. Imagery, very important. You can do things like swap out feature images and take what is not overly seasonal and give it a seasonal angle with just updates to the imagery. So certainly using imagery in your social sharing and social and email, things along those lines to cue users' minds that this is something specific and this is relevant and could be trending information. And then finding unique angles, because it is so competitive and Google has gotten very strict about what content that is just, let's say, product listicles and roundups. it's going to be the best of the best that can compete. There's a lot of money to be made, but if you're publishing just like top gifts for my 4-year-old and it's just list, like, product, the link to it, that's all they have. Google's not finding value in that. Your users aren't going to find value. You really need to care about it, and then try to find an interesting spin on how to present that content. All right, what is the benefit of this? There's some very specific benefits that I think I might have covered in the things that I've already mentioned, but some that I haven't, that you kind of don't even think about it. Of course, you're promoting something during this time. It's a perfect time to release new cookbooks, courses, products, if you have that aspect to your business. Of course, you're using this time to target sales, or you could also just have content. If you're a fashion website, Zara sales, the best Costco sales, whatever it might be. You can also use this to educate your audience on important topics. Why, if you're a lifestyle brand, why certain things are celebrated. Traditions, what a great topic to bring into your audience on whatever they share that could be related on the aspect of special moments and traditions that they do. You're also sending signals to your audience that you care, especially on the more like on the parenting side or nostalgia. It's such a 90s holiday gifts, things of that nature. Really, you can angle them that you're bringing people in those special moments. And then to the next point, or one of these points, there's a brand benefit. You want people to be remembering your brand. So much of organic search traffic and success in Google is now and in the future going to have to do with brands that are recognized, that somebody has the options to choose in the search results between sites. They're going to think, oh, that one stands out. I remember this about them, or maybe, they always use you for a certain set of information. So that can benefit your brand image. You can build this base of refreshable content in which each year you're updating it. That's good on your budget. That's good on helping the editorial budget. And again, not publishing content that is a one and done, but can go back each year to be updated. And it's also good, topical content is good for selling things. Back to the benefit of the added partnerships, and it's just the perfect time of year for you to weave in e-commerce if you aren't already working with like an affiliate program. All right, with it comes challenges. There's always going to be challenges, right? But do not be deterred, because many of you are writing very high quality articles that care about these things for your audience. Don't be dissuaded in any way because you're already performing, but you have to plan ahead. Now's the time. Like if you are sitting here and this is resonating and you think you could maximize efforts better or different than you have in the past, now's the time. I would start with that content inventory and looking at that base of what you have to work with in order to get it ready. And then the sooner you're updating and pushing forward the fresh content for this year, it's going to gain the traction in Google when the searches begin as well. Pinterest, this is another, if you do use that as a means of traffic, and many of you do, it's not what it once was, but it's still during the holiday it peaks. So, or Q4 it peaks. So get that stuff ready. You're going to have to plan ahead and have an organized editorial plan. Many distribution paths are required. This is the email. This is the optimization for search to get ahead. Another one is the social. If you're not spending time there, it can be a great way to drive traffic, to drive to it. But it's very rare that you're going to just be able to keep what was there last year and just expect to get the same results. It takes work. It's necessary to keep it maintained from year to year. I think this is less of a challenge. It's just something you should be doing anyways. It's necessary to keep a lot of evergreen content maintained, even if it's something like I'll quickly give the difference of seasonal is tied to like winter. Like I said, an example of true evergreen would be something like the signs to look for a peanut allergy, something like that, that it doesn't any time of the year, that's relevant if you're in that situation. That's the difference. Less updating goes into those sort of things. Most, there's the middle ground though. Recipes can be both. It doesn't change necessarily, but a lot goes into different times of the year, different recipes are trendy. And then finding creative angles, that's a challenge, but Google things, Google the topics. It's your best free tool is the live search results. See how the pop sugars or refinery or brands that are you look up to in your space, how they're angling seasonal content. And instead of copying and doing the exact same, because you may have struggle to compete on that level, find little tweaks to the angle that you can kind of bring uniqueness for it. All right, we're getting into how to actually update seasonal content. This is going to be the same though for how you update content in general, except for this part right here, in which you're looking back at GA4. Small note, you still have access to your GA UA, the Universal Analytics historical data. You should be able to access. They may extend it, but right now it's at least another year to the end of maybe middle of next year, I want to say. If you started GA4, you'll have last year's Q4, but you're either going to have to look in the old one or the new one to find last year's data and see of those if it's something every single month. Like for the one I'm looking at, the ultimate packing list you see there, it's probably year round. Anytime you're going on, this is a travel website, what to pack, a reminder for what to pack, that is less useful in this case than finding the ones that is winter. That one's winter jackets. How about things like travel destinations, best places to travel in those months? You go through the list and you would pull out the content that you think performs well in this season that is not going to do well in the rest of the year. For the process to review the post, I'm going to re-mention the fact that you need to be careful what you update. I want to specify that. So if it's a top performer, it's still ranking at the top, do not, don't touch. But every year you go back, and I'm going to guess there's broken links to products. This one, if you're doing, I went through this entire post, it either had redirects to a different landing page or an out of stock links in many of these. It wasn't, of course it's a little early, but they should be thinking, oh, it's dated a year ago. So you look at the headline, you're in short looking for ways to improve the post. And I'm going to say start by Googling the topic. That's your competition. If you are going to even bother competing and trying to focus on content, you have to know who and the quality, the trends of what the top performers have, and get to at least that sort of baseline. Easy ones to do. I've directed many editorial teams to to just build this process into their own editorial process, in which I'd say things like, look at the intro graph. Are there references to, I still see references to quarantine time and COVID. Those are going to flag somebody that it's not maybe completely updated information. Old references to just things in the news or things that were happening in that time. So could you refresh that infograph? See who wrote the post. This is important as you establish authority to your brand, to really invest in displaying author information. Click into, if some it can be on the page. You could actually have author information on the page. The other popular functionality is to click to an author bio page. Things like this have become very important. Certainly if there's no author on your page, you need to have somebody owning that content, those opinions, and those links. It establishes trust from the user when they can see it, that maybe a human wrote it. Outdated references, adequate information. It was either 2021 or 2, but 4 or 5 different Google algorithm updates just targeting sites that were doing product reviews. It hurt my heart to talk to many Freestar publishers about what was driving their loss of traffic in those particular years was very thin product reviews. Google doesn't want, in some sense, you're driving sales for these companies. Sure, you're getting a commission and traffic and ad revenue, and that's your incentive, but brands are too. And how many of you bought 11 jackets to try? No one. So the idea that this is either do your research. You don't need to own them all, but at least be very confident and offer unbiased information to the users. I guess you're choosing your favorites or you wouldn't be on the list, but if there are obvious cons, if there's things, just be transparent, be honest. Prices. The point here is what can save your user an extra click? How many times does it just say like a really great Patagonia jacket? That's fine. But if I knew it was $500, maybe, you wouldn't. Just, it's information, it's helpful, right? I don't have to click over to the product to see dimensions. If it's not there's lots of different information you can include on a product that's not just one sentence about it. You're really trying to sell it. Not only, again, you're going to make more money as the user stays engaged longer on your page. Instead of putting product, one sentence, product, picture, one sentence, spend the extra hour to include information about it that helps the user. We're going for last month's webinar, had to do with, it might have been the one before that, helpful. No, it was last month when it was writing how to write for Google's helpful content update, where they're looking in a very technical algorithm. Is your content useful and usable? Meaning, can they do something from it if need be from your article? Useful, usable content. Helpful is another term. Current information. Broken links, the most annoying thing, right? Like for your user to want to buy the product and find out it was actually from 2 years ago, hasn't been, around, and you just wasted a click. Things along those lines. So go through them every time you're updating a post that do include links, not just the products, any link out. Check that it's still working.
Lindsay, we have a question, sorry, on kind of the broken links topic. Someone had asked if it's already a top performer, should they do all of these things or just fix the broken links if the piece is already performing?
Okay, that's performing. I would do minimal tweaks instead of removing. I like this line, write this down. Add, don't subtract. Add, don't subtract. So you could refresh, make it better. It's much less risky. Leave the headline alone. That's fine. If you're truly improving it and maybe you add a new product or something new to the list, remove any outdated information. Yes, you still need to do these because regardless, we need to think in terms of users. How is it making it better for the users? I would still make some tweaks to bring it current for this year, but add, don't subtract. If it's ranking on the first page and not number 1, 2, 3, that's fine. Like that's even less risky, and Google's going to see these as positive changes. It's their own advice to keep things like this updated. If it's going to appear outdated when a user, this is another thing with seasonal content. Many times of the year when the date shows in the search results, it doesn't really matter. But something about this time of year where I'm like, oh, if it was last year, it's probably like reflecting not, especially product based, not the most current information. If it's a top performer and you're just looking to make tweaks and going overboard, maybe don't. Just light tweaks that truly improve quality. Update the date at the end of the refresh. Oh, to that point that, for one, I've had many tests with publishers on refreshing update, and something about if you don't update the date, the benefits don't really, Google does recrawl, see the refresh date. They can tell the original date. One thing that I saw the other day that I think it's a good, good integrity of a website to do is to mention to the user that it's been updated. So if this post that you're looking at is the example we're using, it was published for the first time October 21, 2022, and they say they update it in October for the coming jacket season. At the very bottom of the post, you may have comments from the years that are going to show the dates. So there might have been some other factors, but even just to be transparent, it's common to put a line at the bottom of the post that says something like originally published on October 2022, originally published in whatever the date was. But to actually update the real date at the top of the post. Monitor. Can't say that enough too. I tend to be more conservative with publishers. Test 5 of those medium risk ones, just to see that what you're doing is, that you think you're making it better, Google thinks you're making it worse, that kind of thing. I trust that, especially if you've been listening to me for the last year, you're well versed on what makes a quality website and just caring about the content that your readers consume. And you can get a lot from reviewed products, like even on, of course, on these sites where the actual product lives will be ratings and reviews where hundreds of people may say the same negative comment. That's great to tell. That will help gain your trust. Even if one of these, it's good in these areas, but hey, a lot of reviewers said it wasn't good in rain or whatever it would be. Prioritize your users over your sales. Examples. This is the fun part. I love getting just the brainstorming aspect that goes into headlines and providing your users interesting things around this time. So these are all examples, but giveaways, contests are also a different route if you're looking to grow an email newsletter. Providing, creating content. This is called like a walled content, if you hear that term, in which, sure, you can have the 75 best tech gifts to buy, but there's a small email pop-up that will come up. And in this case, right, these guides, product, holiday related guides, recipe guides, food guides, users can tend to find it more valuable than some of the other content that they would just be reading, and they're willing to sign up for something. It's a great time for sponsored content to partner with a Trader Joe's. Essentially, you have to be, there's influencer campaigns. They have, I don't want it to seem like it's too out of reach for any of you. These brands, all of them up on this board right here, they're very used to using the holidays to make themselves money. So they're happy to give affiliate links for products. There's probably an affiliate program. So say, what else can I use here? An example, the Trader Joe's one. If you go to the bottom of Trader Joe's, there's very likely an affiliate program where you can quickly sign up. You don't need to be pushing Trader Joe's holiday foods for free, and you can earn commissions. This is the affiliate aspect. Any product aspect that's listed in this tech guide, if you go to the site or an affiliate platform like a Commission Junction, where you can become Amazon. Easy to be in their affiliate program if you're not already. because again, we're talking about these products anyways. If you, and what I mean by that is there's a little, like a custom link, and any sales that you drive from these pages because of your content efforts, you get a commission. One that I haven't talked about, that's one of my most favorite here, is temporary navigation adjustments. We have a publisher right now that focuses on, it's very deal heavy sites. So they'll cover all the Walmart's greatest deals today. They just, you find these almost like, for couponers. If you want to go to one place to see all the deals in a day, this is a site that covers it, but it's high quality. They cover it, in transparent ways. They updated their main navigation to say Black Friday deals, just for Black Friday, just for the month or week leading into it. And users on any page of that site see your site's navigation. This works. We also had a partner do it that was a tool site. It wasn't Home Depot, but think of a Home Depot style store. They did something similar where they put Father's Day, gifts for father, gifts for dad or men or whatever it was, in their navigation on the top. And it like tripled the revenue that they sold that year. It also gives Google a good signal that this particular brand, they have such, focus so much on Black Friday deals. It's in their navigation. Google recrawls it, gives you more weight, but much more than that is any article the user was on for those weeks leading up to that. They saw this huge Black Friday deals button, and it got more traffic than it had ever. So those are quick things. And especially if you're on WordPress, navigation updates are up and down, very quick and simple. Product creation might have times for guides, supporting a cause I don't want to overlook. You have these are platforms. Use your voice, use your platform. Oftentimes you can use it for causes that you love that are related to your audience, they'll resonate with that during that time of year. It's a great time to use your platform for that. All right. This is more of a review because I talk about it. I believe quality and pushing our publishers here at Freestar into providing the most quality experience a user can get when it comes to the niche that you specialize. So you're never going to hear me not talking about that. And these are somewhat the factors that tie into that makes it quality. You have to keep your seasonal content relevant. Look at what recently has been done in your content that's doing well. Like if you've noticed over the last month, everything DIY on your site, or everything furniture restoration and these projects you're doing are popping and performing well, find those angles, do the keyword research, search online, spend an hour just searching what is out there that's in the same niche or vein that you would be writing in. Comprehensive. One thing that's not winning with Google anymore is thin content, and it's not going to get easier. Users have a high expectation that, it's just almost like in the last years, the savviness of the users have come into play, which is causing Google to do this is, not because of, but there's the sense of AI and this trust, and is what I'm reading accurate? So you need to keep that's seasonal. If you're doing any sort of education content, or mentioned traditions above, keeping it very accurate, unbiased, trustworthy, easy to read. This is a metric that falls into like a readability that the average human in the world has something like an 8th, 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, depending on the world, reading level. Like that's important to keep into consideration, that you're not, you're to apply, you want to be relevant to all and aiming for easy to understand. And engagement metrics are if not the most important group of metrics that are signaling to Google that your website is helpful and a good experience, right? Those are subjective in a sense terms. And we might think, how does Google know what helpful content is? It's because of the engagement metrics. Anyone who's receiving helpful content, people go there a lot, they stay a lot, they scroll, the scroll depth, all these, various metrics. Are they commenting? Do they view another page after that page? These are engagement metrics. Those can be easily doubled by adding a video to the page, something to keep, infographics, images. Products should not have an image. They must have an image, right? You're trying to sell something that a user physically, I still see it where it's like two of the products have an image. I don't know, it just leaves something to be desired. If you're really going to put a guide, do fewer products. Instead of 25 products, do the best 5 in what you're recommending or in your roundup, but add an image or a video or something that would keep them there. All right, so how to stand out. This is something I want everyone on this call, and I will be circulating it internally. This is just from the other day, August 5th. How many days? That was last week. John Mueller, if you don't know him, is the big SEO Google guy that he's amazing. I want to say he's based out of the UK. And then Marie Haynes is just an SEO human, a consultant, marketing person that's very respected and renowned. But I would like to say how often I too say what Marie has said. I will give her the credit here, but I say it all the time. So many publishers come to us and say, why is my traffic dropping? Why am I not getting organic search traffic? Why am I not showing up in Google? A lot goes in to being a trusted source for Google. So read yourself that second question. Are you consistently quality? So what stood out here is consistently. This is when you cannot spend one solid month giving it all you have to make the best articles or content, and then the rest 11 months of the year you're not, and expect to get something from that month. So having a true, the hard conversation where you look yourself in the mirror and say, are you consistently producing the most helpful content that's available in the search results? If they had to choose between your gift guide and this gift guide from InStyle magazine that's currently ranking number 1, are you better at meeting the needs of the user right there with your piece? I know that is such a hard task, and that is easier that I could sit here and say it than to do it. But I promise it's the way you should be looking at content and understanding that it is hard to rank in Google. But it's possible. Consistent, not giving up after 6 months if you're not seeing results. I have worked with, we have a publisher who spent an entire year digging out of a Google algorithm update, 12 months, not 6 months, wasn't seeing results at 7, 8, 9. A year later, they saw their traffic shoot back up and putting them higher than they had been the previous year. I'm all to say that I would screenshot this quote. You can also find it on Twitter because it's very basic and we're making it complicated. All right, I think this is one of the last slides. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And this is for Google's AI search results called Search Generative Experience. Did I have a slideshow? Oh, sorry. Okay, no, maybe I didn't add that, but I have shared content on what the actual search results look like, where the result is a little snippet of the answers. It's almost like an extension of what they've been doing in Answer Box, the Answer Box top results for many years now. We had publishers pay big time when Google started displaying things like the weather directly in the search results, or sports scores, or when is daylight savings time, or what day, right? These are the things that the search results can answer easily without the help of an article or a publisher. And so the first tip here to continue to compete in the search results is to be comprehensive, to create content that's a little more complicated than, there wasn't a good day where the tactics should have been just like one paragraph answering one search query and hoping to get at the top of Google, right? It went in just a more complex system that you have to really answer a range of questions. And I've talked about where you Google something and then the questions, Google will show you what people also ask in this area of the search results. Find ways to incorporate. You don't have to like question answer, but find ways to incorporate that information that makes your piece still offer something more value than Google can. That's the content depth you'll be aiming for. You need to comprehensively cover the topics, because AI systems are the more complex query regardless. Users, they're not overly trusting the AI, I would say. I don't know how it's going to be when Google fully rolls it out, how much users are going to even, for the basics, sure, what's the temperature like tomorrow? That's fine. But for any sort of complex query, you as a human and a website can offer, I believe, more value than Google will ever be able to do in their generative search experience. Continue to press upon authority and expertise, offering all the information that a user would expect to see on a site about whatever your site is about. If you're a travel site, you'd expect to see a range of different information on there. Even though that one user might not, use the one site, like in a Wikipedia sense, to get all the information, content builds trust with Google that you're able to effectively serve the user. The website being under attack with Google answering and being able to give the experience right there to the user in the search results. It may have even been in preparation for this webinar, but I searched for something yesterday and Google was showing images right in the search result. Like it was a smooth experience. It's an impressive experience, and I never needed to go to the website. That scares us as website publishers, as website owners. This was like a very visual search query, and I was just looking at images. So you got to go above that, and to provide also to make sure your own images are optimized as well to show up in those places. Complex queries. So continue, high quality. Your website experience should be clean, easy to navigate. Those are the things that are going to keep the user there once you get them there with the content. All right. In conclusion, to prep for Q4, the time is now, by the way. Do this starting in the next months. Also, even September comes fall, Labor Day. There's things that are not just November, December. These are the prepping all year, essentially. You'll be prepping, but update your top performers. So do the inventory where you're looking at what did well last year, getting to update them. Find ways to add or interweave shoppable content, product recommendations into those. Take a look at your ads. If you're with Freestar, of course, you have your own customer support manager there or support on hand to help you with those ads. But now's the time to test with video, if you're very conservative on those article images, increase those during this time period. And then number 4, you have to have a distribution plan to users. So get ready to have some email campaigns sent out and a plan for social media. And of course, always be SEO, optimizing your content for search results. Questions?
Again, you can drop them in the chat if you'd rather not come on camera.
Thank you so much. Also, you can reach out to us at any time through marketing, through myself, Lindsay.Valdez, Freestar.io. But we love talking shop and getting publishers ready for Q4, the we often say lucrative time of the year. We'll see how this Q4 goes.
Additionally, if there's a workshop that you'd like us to put on that you think could be beneficial for a lot of publishers, please let us know. We're happy to consider your topic. Okay, we have a question coming in. Is there such thing as too early for updating evergreen and seasonal content?
Too early, like in this, maybe, January, February for the end of the year, sure, maybe, but not as in, I want to say Pinterest trends go about 3 months early. Search trends happen a little later at about the 2 month mark, but think about it. You're going to need time to update, and you're actually put in the time to make it higher quality, research, add to it. That's going to take a moment. And then I say, like, is there times too early? No, not really. But if you're going to stay at least along the calendar year, 3 to 4 months ahead is not too early.
So this person actually called out the history of a Thanksgiving meal. For example, I can actually share as a consumer of content. I'm a mom. So I've been searching for my Halloween costumes for my kids, and we are in August. So to give you an idea, it's, all of August, all of September, about exactly 3 months early. And that's, trying to be, it's my favorite holiday with my kids. But, I do think it's a normal search time for Halloween. Therefore, maybe in a month, people will start searching for their Thanksgiving recipes. So like you said, Lindsay, about 3 months out.
Yeah, I would absolutely say September, September, early October would be a great time to start refreshing that Thanksgiving content.
Any other questions? Thank you for that
Great question.
I think we'll give it one more beat here in case anyone's typing a question.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. That was amazing. And yes, please take advantage of Lindsay and her team for some one-on-one consulting if you'd like to, especially if your content's a little unique and you have some questions. That's what she's here for. So please reach out to her. You can email us at marketing or Lindsay directly, and we'll get you in touch. And thank you so much for joining, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye.